Good morning, guys. It is really early. It's just after 6 a.m. and I am going to take Rafa for a walk soon. He's pretty enthusiastic that I'm not still in bed, but we've got to get an early start on today. I have got to be in Sydney at 10 a.m. I'm still half asleep. I've got to be at my mum's medical appointment at 10 a.m. Those of you who've watched the channel, and welcome back to the channel, you'll know that my mum recently had a hip replacement. She did not have the best experience in the hospital, namely with the physio involved not really having any interest in working with the patient and progressing the patient and putting any effort into making sure the patient could do stairs before she left to go home. I'm just going to turn the tap on. And I am actually a physio, so that problem got resolved fairly quickly. But she's still having some hip problems, so she needs to go to the specialist today. And again, because I'm a physio, she wants me to come with. But it's a 10 a.m. appointment. And so I'm getting ready to leave. I'm just going to take Rafa for a walk and water the seedlings quickly, and the strawberries, because I really want the strawberries to work out. But I'm going to get a wriggle on pretty quickly because I'm probably going to catch peak hour on the way up. And there's a few things I want to do, but I'm looking forward to our walk this morning because I just heard the call of the black cockatoo, which is one of the most beautiful animals and so uncommonly seen. I never ever saw them before I moved down here, and even then I didn't see them for the first 12 months of living down here, and I only see them now because I can hear them in the bush, and so I can go when I can hear them. And last time I saw them, oh my god, I saw like hundreds. It was so heartwarming because so much of their habitat has been destroyed. But we need to get to watering and we need to get to walking the dog because I gotta get a wriggle on. I actually need to leave in probably like 10 or 15 minutes, but Rafa needs a walk so he doesn't go insane. I actually think it's going to rain later, and you might be able to see the sky behind me. Maybe it looks grey and miserable. But I'm just going to quickly water in the lettuce that I planted yesterday. So just in case it doesn't, it's all good. I replaced a few of these iceberg lettuces yesterday because they had shriveled up and died, and I guess that's just transplant shock. So everybody else is looking nice and happy. But we'll just quickly water in those ones that got transplanted yesterday. I'm trying to remember which ones they are. It's too early in the morning. So I am leaving Rafi with a new toy, which he's very happy about. This should keep him amused for a little while and out of trouble. He's also got a frozen topple outside with part of his meal in it. And we have got to go. We have got to get going though, because it's 5 to 7. It's going to take 3 hours to get to Sydney, and I was hoping to stop somewhere en route and pick something up that I can't normally get when I have Rafa in the car because there's no room and I can't really leave him in the car. But I don't know if we're going to have time. Firewood is really necessary to dry out the house, especially with a third La Nina coming. This is like really necessary. My parents don't have a fire stove or anything like that. My dad is all about having jobs, so he chops up trees whenever they fall over and keeps them for me for firewood, so I'll be grabbing some when we're there. And just seeing the black cockatoos this morning means rain is coming, and we are forecast for a fair amount of rain starting tomorrow. So we need to get to Sydney, get back. We've got 3 hours to get there, and with peak hour that may not be enough time. I made it to my mum's medical appointment, which was at 10 o'clock, at exactly 10 o'clock. So I cut that probably a little bit too fine, but we've had an x-ray this morning and I still actually have to have a look at the results. But I'm on my way now to pick up some new equipment that will hopefully help with her hip pain. Then I've got to run a few chores for my parents. I've got to pick up some beer for my dad. It was his birthday last week. And then hopefully what I'm going to do is hit Costco on the way home, and I'm going to go to a different one than the one I usually go to, because the one I usually go to when I'm in Sydney doesn't seem to have a lot of stock turnover. So I'm hoping that going a different way home will give me different stock to choose from at Costco, which will be exciting. I also picked up, hopefully you can see it, the back is a bit trashed, a couple of boxes of Unique water, which, I mean, I don't love getting because I don't like the plastic factor, but the water has been very effective in helping me absorb my thyroxine. I was extremely skeptical, but it worked. It also helped my mum with precancerous cells in her esophagus. They just went after she started drinking the water. So, you know, whatever. If it works, it works. So I picked up some of that on my way in, and now I'm going to go and get some equipment for my mum at the equipment hire shop. And then next time I think we see each other, we'll be in Costco. I stopped to pick up some lunch, which is a Vietnamese beef noodle salad. I'm not a big fan of Vietnamese food on the whole, but this comes from the cafe near where I used to own my practice, and oh my god, this is so tasty. I've tried to make this at home before, very unsuccessfully, and she just told me what I need to do to my sauce to actually make it better. So I think maybe very soon we will be attempting to make this again together. Interestingly, there's a lot less iceberg lettuce down the bottom than there used to be, so maybe this is inflation hitting, although iceberg lettuce has come down from $12 a head to $2, so it shouldn't be. This is Marley Sue, my mum's dog. She's 11 and a half, and we got her when she was about 6. And she's been hit by a car before, and she also has pretty bad hip dysplasia, and she was limping a lot when I came up on this day. So she always presents her hips to me because she is a happy physio participant. So I did a little bit of work on her hips to loosen up some of the muscles that were restricting some of her movement and making the joint a little bit more painful. And as you can see, she enjoyed every minute of it, and thankfully she was better at the end. I also picked up a bunch of firewood while I was at my parents' house. Now, I thought my dad had chucked this wood out on the lawn for a while before I picked it up, and part of the reason I have these black boxes is 1, to contain the wood for safety, but 2, for my psychological benefit that it will contain a spider. Unfortunately, that was not the case, and as I was driving home in the darkness, the spider kept crawling across the driver's side window and freaking me out, and it wasn't a very nice drive home, but it was great to be able to fill up these boxes with firewood and have that ready in my garage for the next round of La Nina rains to help keep the house dry and prevent mold and moisture damage to the house. While I was at my parents' house, I also checked out the little mini garden I've been working on. Mostly these are pots that I couldn't take down to the south coast when I moved, so I planted a bunch of stuff in there my mum might enjoy. I collected the straw flowers, which I'm going to use at Christmas time, and once again, my mum's cabbages are doing so well. I've pulled and chucked all of mine, and I planted them at the same time. So they just look so beautiful, and I love the colours on this one. It's just divine, and sadly none of mine worked out. Luckily, my dad has a very healthy lemon supply, and he supplied me with some lemons. Then it was off to Costco. It's a new Costco. I've never been to this Costco before, and I had to take a completely different route home to go there, and there was a bunch of new stuff I hadn't seen, like this giant pot, and there was also a bunch of things I didn't need, but I marveled at, like this enormous safe. I couldn't help but play with it and wonder what one would have that one would need to keep it in such a big safe, especially as a regular non-James Bond person. I also decided to pick up this massive bag of onions. I don't know why I suddenly had the urge to do so. I was specifically looking for shelf-stable things because My freezer is pretty full and I was driving home without an esky, but for some reason these onions seem like a fantastic idea, and I guess they kind of were because they're now all chopped up and in my freezer, but they were a pretty great buy and they were all amazing quality. And we've had a little bit of trouble getting great quality onions of late just because of all the rain we've had. I also picked up another couple of these butternut pumpkins because they were such a great price. And to be honest, Rafa's had such a dodgy tummy from eating things he's not supposed to eat that it's honestly always worthwhile having a pumpkin on standby. For those of you who don't know, pumpkins are actually really great for dogs with upset tummies. I wanted to get a bunch of navel oranges I was really craving, but sadly they were all soft and squishy, so I did leave them. I also found this pack of rainbow carrots, which gave me hope because my various coloured carrots are either small or all twisted around each other, so it was nice to see. There were lots of temptations, but given I've only got a couple of days left in the celiac challenge, I decided to leave most of those temptations and just focus on things I was going to be using long term. It always amazes me how much stuff Costco has. I nearly got another pack of freeze-dried strawberries just because they taste so good. But we are about to go into strawberry season and my freeze dryer arrives in maybe a month or so, so it just seems silly. I checked out the chickpeas because finally Costco had chickpeas again, and Australia's had a lot of problem with chickpeas because a lot of the crop got damaged in our floods, and I couldn't find a pack that I was happy with, so it was time to move on to a different aisle and keep checking things out. I've always found Costco is a great place to pick up kids' presents for birthdays or Christmas, and today was no exception. They had some incredible art stuff for my niece. All done at Costco. It was different in terms of stock, not grossly different, but still different. It was a way more chill vibe. That might just be a Wednesday evening situation, but it is starting to rain and we've been told to expect a rain bomb this week. So, you know, back to flood level rains, not the words that we were looking for this weekend, rain bomb. But so right now I'm going to get a wriggle on and get going. This is by far the longest period that Rafa has spent by himself. So I wouldn't be surprised if I got home to a little bit of destruction, but I'm hoping to be home 2.5 hours and show him the soccer balls we found for him and hopefully make him a little bit happier because he won't be very happy by himself, poor little chap. And it's been a long day and I'm tired. With a spider in a dark car for a 3-hour drive, I was about as happy as Rafa was when I got home. He was very happy to see me and also really happy with the soccer balls that we had found, and he destroyed them in about 90 seconds. They both got popped and ripped to shreds, but he had a great time doing it, so whatever. He's a happy little chappy. Now that we're home, let's go through the haul of stuff we got in Sydney. The firewood is all in the garage. So these are my lemons from the backyard where I'm renting at the moment. And these are the lemons that my dad grows. And you can see there's a much better skin on these, which is why I got these from my parents' house. I got these to preserve the rind. And so what I want to do is dehydrate that and powder that. It's a lot harder to do with a bumpy, lumpy onion. Clearly I'm tired. A lemon. So I'm going to be using the skin of these ones, and obviously I will then preserve the juice and put that in the freezer. But it has been a very long couple of days and I am very tired. We also picked up 2 goats for Rafa, and Costco was a relatively small haul, but we didn't really need a lot and we didn't really want a lot of what they had, but it was more stock variation than the one I've been going to. So we got some baby broccoli because I love it. Big pack of carrots and onions, which I will preserve. So I'll probably blanch these and dehydrate them, and I'll just chop these up and freeze some and dehydrate the others. I picked up 3 more of the cheap butternut pumpkins for the guy who keeps eating things he's not supposed to eat. I picked up 2 big bottles of sweet chili sauce for the pantry. a big pack of Just Right cereal. I haven't had this in ages, but seeing I'm doing the celiac challenge and this has wheat in it, might as well. I picked up this creative arts pack for my niece for her birthday, which is just after Christmas. I like to be prepped and ready for these things. Another big box of toilet paper because apparently you can't really get any down here at the moment at the supermarkets. And I picked up this giant pot thinking I was a genius, but apparently it's the same size pretty much as my pressure canner, and it turns out my mum has bought me a second pressure canner for my birthday, despite the fact that I haven't done any pressure canning ever. But I just thought this would be good because often when I cook soups, I like to batch cook and I like to do 2 batches at once, but 2 doesn't fit in the biggest pot that I have. So, well, we're gonna have lots of big pots now. And the total haul for that Costco run was $201.37, which is the smallest amount I've ever escaped Costco with, I feel like. And then today I picked up some things for my pantry because last night I was putting some of the things that have been sitting around waiting for me to put them in Mylar bags. I popped them in Mylar bags, and I picked up a couple of things to add to the Mylar bags. I also picked up some wheat noodles, seeing as I have come back negative on the celiac gene test. I've got 5 more days to go on the celiac challenge, and I tell you, I am ready to eat something other than wheat, and I never thought I would say that because I've always been a fan, but far out. Honestly, I feel so much comparatively eating wheat, although normally the amount of wheat I've been eating, I would have normally been dead on the floor by now, but somehow having a probiotic at the same time has helped. I also picked up citric acid, and I picked up a few jars of this, which I love on a particular type of wheat noodle that I'm eating at the moment. Whoops. And these are just to go in Mylar bags, and I just didn't have enough to fill up the existing Mylar bag, and the same with the oats. So I just picked up a couple more today when I was out and about to fill up the Mylar bags. So this is the Sydney haul and a little bit more. As for the spider, it is unknown whether he lives or not. I thought I'd managed to squash him with the sock, but there was no evidence of that spider meeting its end, and so it potentially lives to terrify me another day. And so right now I'm exhausted and I'm going to go to bed. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. I forgot to show you these. I picked these up recently at a strange little farm stand that was off the beaten track locally. Hello, what do you think's happening? You're all the way up on the chair. That's extremely rude. Anyway, we'll deal with you in a minute, but I was watching, I think it's 3 Rivers Homestead, where they do the Every Little Bit Counts challenge, and they were talking about how to avoid dairy. They make peach butters and things like that, and I was like, that's amazing. I didn't even know that was a thing. And they had mango butter and lemon butter, probably because peaches are not in season at the moment. Can you get off, Rafi? Off. Good boy. And they also had roast garlic aioli, and you guys know how strongly I feel about garlic. It is a true and passionate love between me and garlic. So I thought I would try that, but I thought this would be a good idea to try these before I go wandering off to get a whole stack of peaches and things like that to try and make butters. So lots of things to put away and lots of things to preserve. See you in the next one. Rafa won't play. Oh, you are so lovely. You've been saying love you all day today. Love you too, Possum. Love you too. You're a good boy. Bit crazy, but... Oh, darling. Yes, Ravi, play. Yes. Oh, you're such a good boy.